Hello, I am Xarkun and this is World of Warships Legends. Today we're going to be taking our first look at the Pirates content. I'm going to give you my first impressions on the commanders and the ships that were released under the Pirates content on Monday, November 28th, 2022. The two ships are La Foudre, which is a French battleship at Tier 7, premium Tier 7 French battleship, and Caprice, which is a premium Tier 7 British destroyer, although the Caprice is actually Le Fantasque, the Tier 7 French destroyer, but under the British flag with a British commander. I'm going to show you my builds for both of these ships, and I'm going to take each one out into one game in sort of the one-take format, cut all that together, and that'll be the first impressions. And we'll talk a little bit about whether or not I think it's worth buying the ship. And we'll start with La Foudre, which I think is probably going to be the most desired out of the two, because this is a copy of the Jean Bart. But everything isn't quite the same, and the differences can mostly be found in the stats pages here. According to the literature that Wargaming provided us for the Foudre and the Caprice, Foudre is based on Tier 7 French premium battleship Jean Bart, but the secondary battery range at base is increased from 4.5 km to 6.7 km on La Foudre. You can see I have it built here for secondaries, and they range out to 10.1 km. So just judging by the numbers here on the stats page, this is supposed to be a secondary battleship. Also, the Sigma value on the main guns was changed, or rather the Sigma value on the secondaries was changed from 1 to 1.2, which means that these secondaries are more accurate than the secondaries on the Jean Bart. The shell damage was changed from 1400 to 1550 for the 100mm guns, and from 2200 to 2350 for the 152mm secondaries. So the alpha on the secondaries and the range was increased. And likewise, on the main guns, for La Foudre compared to the Jean Bart, main gun range 16.5 km on La Foudre, 1 km less than the Jean Bart. The accuracy, likewise on the main guns, was reduced in comparison to the Jean Bart. Jean Bart has 1.8 Sigma, and Foudre has 1.7, and the reload time on the main guns increased by 1 second for La Foudre, 27 seconds, Jean Bart, 26. So we've got reduced main battery range and increased secondary battery range for La Foudre. A nerf to the main guns, a buff to the secondaries. Sort of reminds you a little bit of another recent premium ship, Bismarck B. Other than that, I think pretty much everything about La Foudre is the same as the Jean Bart, from the HP to the AA to the maneuverability and the concealment. So the question is, do you want to buy this ship, and how does it play? We're about to find out, but I'll show you what I did to build it. Put the secondaries mod on, propulsion mod, concealment, and secondary reload mod on. So that's all influencing the stats that you saw earlier. And the commander is the pirate-themed commander, Michel Le Tir, I believe. He's a brawler-type commander. So I've set him up for a full secondary build and a heal. And I've got Hipper and Kondo as inspirations. Kondo is for the extra concealment, because I think that is useful in terms of survivability, and we all know what Hipper is for. Anyway, let's take this out and see how it does. As far as the commander himself, I don't know that he's all that much worth it. His base trait increases the secondary shell damage by 10% when fully maxed, And his unique skill reduces fire duration when the damage control party is on cooldown, and reduces flooding duration for the ship, both up by 10%. So actually, that's not that bad of a skill, but you have to forego the skill that gives you the extra heal in order to use that skill. So I don't know that that trade-off is very much worth it, and I can't imagine I would be using the base trait to increase my secondary alpha on any other builds, but no, they're more useful inspirations than that, I would say. In any case, let's get started here, and I guess we're going to go left along with our teammates and maybe play the Thunderdome cap. But as far as whether you want to buy this ship, I don't know. If you missed out on the Jean Bart, then maybe you do want to buy this, but keep in mind your main battery gun power is not going to be quite the same. It's essentially comparable to the Jean Bart, but you're less accurate, you have less range, and you have a slower reload. And it's really the main guns that make the Jean Bart what it is. At the same time, you do have increased secondary range, but you have a lot of 100mm secondary guns, and honestly, I don't know. I probably should have asked Wargaming, but I don't know what the pen on those 100mm secondary guns are. If they get standard HE pen, which means the 1/6 of their caliber, then that means they really aren't going to be penetrating basically any armor in this game. I don't even know if they would pen destroyer armor. I assume that they probably do, though, otherwise they're entirely useless aside from starting fires. So let's go with the idea that they do pen destroyer armor. In that case, I bet they only pen 21mm, maybe 25 if we're lucky. We'll have to see what we can see. Certainly the 152s will pen at least 25, but I don't know how much these secondaries are really going to be worth in terms of the damage they do because of lack of penetration, and yeah, I don't know. And you've got a slower reload and less range on the main guns, so it's like the Jean Bart, but it's like the Jean Bart's quirky cousin or something. I don't know. I don't know if I would want to buy it. Richelieu, let's see how these secondaries go. You know, we use the properly meticulous skill, and we aren't even running the consumable. So that skill is completely useless to us. Hopefully you can switch out something to get that consumable. I wonder what that would be. Main battery reload mod or the engine boost. I don't think I'd want to switch out the main battery reload mod. Also, these secondaries are absolutely not penetrating the Richelieu like anywhere. Nor are they really starting... Okay, there's a fire. Yeah, see, this is like all the 100mm secondaries hitting, and it doesn't even look like they're penning the Richelieu's superstructure, because we're getting 0 damage. It's not until the bigger guns fire where you can actually see that we start getting, you know, actual fires and maybe some damage if they hit the Richelieu's superstructure. But yeah. To be fair, our fire has done a good amount of damage, and we've lit too. So we've probably cycled the DCP for him, and that's not useless. But he's gonna die to these torps, so... Oh, he actually died to our fire. I think that's just luck. And we've got a lightning. The real question is, do our secondaries do damage to the lightning? Maybe we're about to find out. Evidently, these secondaries have improved damage over... Okay, well, we got 2 hits. I don't know whether those were the 100mm or the 152s. If they're the 152s, they should be doing damage. If they're the 100mm, it's iffy. Okay. Let's switch to the HE. There go the secondaries. Lightning shooting back. Okay, there's a hit, and it was 0 damage. So I'm thinking these 100 millimeters... Well, close quarters expert, so I guess that's cool. I don't know. I don't know if these 100 millimeter secondaries actually damage the destroyers or not. Kind of hard to tell. I can tell you one thing I know for sure, though, which is that the lightning undoubtedly launched torpedoes at us. I think that's those right there. But we knew that was going to happen, so we took steps to avoid. The accuracy is noticeably not great on these guns, too. I mean, that wasn't bad. That was actually pretty good, but up until that point, I think most of the salvos have been... Well, they've left a little bit to be desired. Now, obviously, you could improve that if you want to build for accuracy, which is not something I've done here. I don't even have Aiming Systems Mod 1 on, since I'm using the secondary mod, but... Not very accurate. Double fire, of course, because it's an Ochakov. Why wouldn't it light a fire twice instantly? We're going to sail through the Thunderdome, though, and try to get into Bravo. I don't really want to push into an Ochakov and an Edinburgh. Torpedoes and that Ochakov HE spam is disgusting. Oh, that was too much lead. He was slowing down. Probably hit the Ochakov, though. I don't know, though. He's sailing away. He might be out of our main battery range by the time these guns reload. That's a downside. I'd rather have increased main battery range, honestly, over these secondaries, although... Yeah, I don't know. This ship could be fun for the memes or something, maybe. It's certainly not going to be a bad ship, I don't think. And it... random citadels as well, so French AP, good stuff. But if you see this and you want to buy it because you think, I missed out on the Jean Bart, I really want the Jean Bart, well, this is the Jean Bart, except not quite. Oh, a Miyoko. Turret traverse is slow. I have to turn the entire ship, actually. I guess I might as well select him as a secondary. Okay. Never mind. We don't need to select him as a secondary target at all. Nice to know La Foudre can dev strike with the best of them. Although that was a Miyoko, to be fair. They sort of designed to be dev struck, I think. Oh, he did kill the Massachusetts. Good for him. Well, I think this game is going to be wrapping up here, and we're going to definitely win. We'd really, really have to screw up to lose, so... I don't know, what are my thoughts on this ship? I suppose if you do buy it, and you build it with the commander for secondaries, then this is a somewhat unique and interesting variation on the Jean Bart. It's the first ship in the game that is a proper French secondary battleship due to the increased range. It also... Can we get a crack in here? So it's a Jean Bart with increased secondary potential and decreased main battery potential. Obviously, if you are going to buy it because you didn't get the Jean Bart and you want the Jean Bart, then you could build it for accuracy and range with, like, Jaujard or Azerlane Dunkirk if you have that commander, and you could play it essentially like the Jean Bart and get an approximation of the same experience, although you will be less effective because you'll have less gun range and a slower reload. So in that sense, you'll be slightly less effective than the Jean Bart, but you can still get the Jean Bart sort of experience, I suppose. And whether you like this camo or not, I suppose that's a matter of personal taste. Personally, I think the camouflage scheme it's all right. It's not the best the art department has ever come up with. But yeah, I don't know if I would recommend this one or not. I'll leave that up to you. All I know is that we can maybe get a Kraken with this Ochakov here, and we are absolutely going to try to do that. Good thing he shot back in return. Oh, of course, we def strike like two cruisers in this game, but when we shoot at the Ochakov, we just completely miss. He might have maneuvered out of the way or something, or could be Russian bias. Who knows? We're gonna kill this guy, though. Just wanna, like... Oh, we actually went dark and he was blind firing us there for a second. I didn't even notice. Well, this is the accuracy of La Foudre, shown to us in stark relief, I suppose. But eventually, once we get close enough to this guy, there's just no way he will be able to do anything. And now the secondaries begin to work. Imagine, for a moment, ladies and gentlemen, if we were able to achieve this Kraken with a close quarters expert, and yeah, wouldn't that be something? We got one damaging hit on the Ochakov and a fire. I bet these secondaries do cause a fair amount of fires. They are French, so they should. We're gonna slow it down here. I want to get this Kraken. Ochakov wants to torp me. Kraken. Okay, so we get a Kraken in our first game in La Foudre. Interesting. And of course we earn a good amount of money for it because it's a tier 7 premium. But all in all, La Foudre, I don't know if I would buy it. It's a Jean Bart, but it's a lesser Jean Bart experience. And now, we'll take a look at La Caprice, or Caprice, I don't know. Okay, so this thing is basically just a clone of Les Fantasques, but it's not quite the same as Les Fantasques at all. This one has a lot of changes to it compared to Les Fantasques, and here's what they are. So, to begin with, you can choose to have Les Fantasques' same consumables. You can have main battery reload booster, and you can have engine boost. Or, you can have sonar, British sonar, that lasts forever, has a low detectability of ships, but basically is torpedo self-defense, and British smokes. And given the fact that you only get one main battery reload booster, and yeah, I would go with the British smokes and the British sonar, because this is British smoke and British sonar on a French ship, okay? So it's got that, and of course the torpedoes that it has can reload tube by tube, like British torpedoes do. But the differences here are, of course, to the torpedo reload. Compared to Fantasque, the Caprice has an 95-second base torpedo reload. Now, I've built for the torpedoes, so I've reduced it. And also the main batteries. Has a reduced HE alpha of 1800 compared to Les Fantasque's 2K, and a reduced AP alpha of 2500 compared to Fantasque's 2700. Also, the reload time on the guns is increased. Fantasque is 6 seconds even, Caprice 7.5, so I'd say that's an encouragement to build into the torpedoes, which I have. Aiming Systems Mod 1 here, Propulsion, Concealment, Torpedo Reload Mod. And the commander herself, she reduces the torpedo reload time and reduces the cooldown for all consumables, so certainly an alright thing. And she's your typical torpedo-focused reload commander. I've set her up for contact is imminent, and her unique skill is very interesting. It increases torpedo damage when launching them the British way, and increases smokescreen dispersion time. I think it's kind of interesting and potentially pretty nifty. I think we'll be launching all of our torpedoes one by one in order to make use of this. And then we've got Perceptive on there for the extra radio location. Of course, we could go for Torpedo Safari, or we could go for Back in Stock, but I think I want the RPF thing. I don't want to go for Torpedo Safari because I don't want to decrease the main battery range, nor do I want to increase the reload time. 7.5 seconds is already really, really slow. I don't want it to be even slower, because we have all these smoke screens and our guns can come in handy while inside of our smoke screens, potentially. Then, of course, we've got Unstoppable, and I've put on Bay and Swirsky, since this skill takes place of the concealment skill. Really makes you lose out on the concealment, actually. So even with Bay and Swirsky, we're at 5.5. In any case, let's take this one out and see how it goes. All right, so here we are. We've got Kagero and Fletcher to worry about. Quite a bit of, only one radar actually, and no CVs, so that's kind of nice. So we're basically a British refit, a British copy-paste of Le Fantasque. This is somehow much more interesting to me than the Jean Bart. And I think this has the potential to be massively overpowered. We didn't look at the torpedo stats, by the way, but I've got these torpedoes going at like 74 knots. They've got an 8.3 kilometer range. They reload in 79 seconds, and they hit for like 18k alpha. The downside is that the detectability of these torpedoes is trash. It is 1.9, which is horrible. It gives the targets plenty of time to react, but, I mean, we're fairly stealthy. We can launch these tube by tube. Otherwise, do we just get complete widespread? That's weird. That's some odd things. This is a bizarre ship, ladies and gentlemen. This one is weird. Here comes Fletcher. You know what? We'll use this smoke for a second, and we'll just shoot at Vanguard a little bit, because he's already going to turn anyway. Test these guns out, and then we'll go for Fletcher. We're way faster than Fletcher, and I think we might hit the Vanguard here, actually. Yeah, our torpedoes are ridiculously fast. Look at them go. Yep. And if we can follow that up with a... Okay, we don't need to follow that up with a fire. But we have two DDs right here. Right next to this island. So we do need to get away. And the good thing about this is that unlike actual British destroyers, this thing is French. So it is really, really fast. And I do not at all miss the engine boost. Plus it's Le Fantasque, so it's got the torpedo... You know, how Le Fantasque does. Oh, Fletcher, you opened up, and my teammates are around to shoot you. That sucks. And you know what? If things get too hot and heavy, we don't have to worry about... Yep, okay, so we just took shots from a battleship over there. We are absolutely going to smoke up and break line of sight. And we are going to run away a little bit here. Just reset the situation. I think there is a very good reason that the French DDs have no smoke screens. So much for Fletcher. Kagero we're not going to spot, obviously. So we're going to turn around, and we're going to go straight for the Delta Cap and probably take it. Hopefully we will kill Kagero in the process of doing that. But yeah, this ship is fascinating. This is a fascinating ship. A French destroyer with the best smokes in the game. That's what this is. This is a French destroyer with the best smokes in the game and sonar. And even without an engine boost, it goes faster than most destroyers with an engine boost. Didn't they have to nerf Le Fantasque because they said it was overpowered? Because they nerfed the guns on this version of Le Fantasque, and then they massively buffed the torpedoes and massively buffed the consumables. This ship is actually kind of crazy, the more I think about it. And Kagero, I mean, we're going to do a widespread there, obviously. And one there, too. That is some... Oh, it's got unupgraded Le Fantasque torpedoes. It's only got 5. Maybe that's the justification, then. It's only got... Yeah, it's got, what, 2 triple launchers on each wing, and then... Well, it doesn't matter. Ask the Kagero if it matters how many torpedoes I just launched there, or whether the only choice is to launch them complete widespread or complete single launch. I don't think that's too much of a trade-off there. This is nuts. This is actually insane. The Jean Bart ship, it's like, whatever, the changes are a matter of flavor, but this is a huge fundamental change to the core design of this particular ship, and I think this is probably... No, I don't need... This is too much. This is not going to stay this way. There's no way. They're going to have to apply some kind of nerf to it. They can't. Yeah, they can't let this be the way it is. I don't know if we'll hit that Roma or not, but what we can do is once we get turned here is launch torpedoes off the other side. I think the Roma might escape these torps, but is he turning in? Or is he turning away? Yeah, he's gonna escape the torps. But he is turning in. We're gonna turn on sonar just in case, but oh my god, look at what we can do here. This is... Oh, I don't know about this, ladies and gentlemen. I really don't. Oh no. Roma, goodbye. Goodbye, Roma. Imagine if that guy had been on full health and I'd been able to smoke up in front of him like that and launch all my torpedoes with pinpoint accuracy. I mean, these things are fast. They are fast, they hit really, really hard, and you can launch them with single file. And this ship goes 40-something knots, and it's got 6 British smokes, and it's got sonar. What is the weakness of this ship? No. What have they done? I mean, this is... And look, our torpedoes are about to even be reloaded. And I guess Bieberg here is gonna turn. So you know what? We'll turn too. And we'll just launch the torpedoes right off the other side. I don't think Brandenburg has sonar, does it? Oh shoot, we've been spotted by the Bieberg. Let's smoke up. Which we can do in our French DD. With British smoke. Well, good job, Bieberg, but dodge those torps, will ya? Imagine if we get a Kraken in this game. Brandenburg tried to torpedo us. Failed. We're gonna go this way, push out in front of our teammates here, and hopefully spot the cruisers. Now, we don't need to play aggressively in this game at all. We can torpedo things if we want, but we cannot die, and we need to, if possible, maintain control of this cap. There's only cruisers and battleships left. So if we get out in front of our Amagi here, hopefully, and spot things... Okay, is the Amagi going to stay there? I really hope so. He's hiding himself behind an island. And I'm going to provide intelligence data for them. So hopefully if one of them gets into this cap, then I will be spotting them, and... The Amagi probably shouldn't push out, but the Kronstadt is fairly healthy. Okay. We don't even really need to prevent the cruiser from taking this cap either. Doesn't really matter if they secure it, so long as they don't take another one. But even if they do... Okay, it's a Kronstadt that's in the cap. And Mines. I don't know if Mines is going to sail down this gap, but if he does, we're going to put some torpedoes inside the gap as... Like, what's up, Mines? And actually, we can shoot at the Mines without even being spotted. So we'll do that. It's a good thing, at least, that they nerfed the alpha on the main battery guns. If this also had 2K HE alpha, it'd be really nuts. I don't think we're getting a Kraken this time, though. But I think we did play a good game. Despite the... You know, the rather mediocre damage aggregate. Certainly wasn't bad. We'll see how that goes. I don't think... Yeah, I didn't think that Torp would be able to hit. I wonder if that will prompt him to use radar. Maybe he doesn't have any radar left. I hope he... Well, he might kill one of my teammates here, but even if he does, it doesn't matter. In any case, I think out of the two ships, La Foudre and this thing is more interesting. I feel like people are definitely going to be buying Foudre more than they are this, just because Jean Bart, but this thing is truly fascinating. Okay, and then Musashi is gonna... Why are you actually shooting at the Musashi? Maybe don't. Launch more torps just in case. I don't think they're gonna catch that Kronstadt. Oh no, he's coming the complete other way. We can't even shoot him. Our gun range is trash. I wonder if maybe I will end up buffing the gun range a little bit. Because these smokes, I mean, pretty good. But yeah, this ship is crazy. In concept, anyway. This isn't like a crazy showing in it, of course, but I think you can all get the idea. So, first impressions, La Foudre, Jean Bart, like experience, but Jean Bart's quirky cousin, more like. And La Foudre, La Caprice, some sort of crazy French-British Frankenstein concoction of potentially extreme overpoweredness, I would say. Yeah, that's a very nice result in terms of XP. So yeah, I think this concludes our look at Caprice and Foudre. Both of the ships are obviously really, really good, and they are Tier 7 premium, so they earn a lot of money. You might want to pick them up just for that reason. But I think Caprice here could potentially be a little bit OP and might need a nerf sometime in the future. And Foudre, while it is the Jean Bart, it's not quite the Jean Bart. So I'm not here to tell you how to spend your money, but hopefully this video helped you decide whether you want to or not. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.